everybody, and welcome to another session of Talk Your Talk Show on Prince World TV. And my humble self, Omo Kende, with me, Mrs. Ajayi, and Omo Damilare.
Uluwadamilare.
So I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We were discussing about some certain topic, and the only thing he said that got me, was when he said parents should stand in gap for their children.
Okay.
And I was like, that word, Olofa, it goes far. Parents should stand in gap for their children. Uluwadamilare, what do you understand by the word parents should stand in gap for their children?
Wow. Parents standing in gap for their children. Well, if I'm to say, it is just them playing their parental responsibility, most especially. It is the parent doing that which it is required of them to do. One, being a parent, being there for your children, being the one that brings your word up morally. You teach these children things they don't know why, because they are young. So you are the ones that you're like
a parent
standing. You know, this gap. The gap is like, this is the child, this is the parent, and this is life. The parent is the one that tells them what they are going to face. You understand? So this is their responsibility.
And they should take on.
You understand? So it is them playing that role of being
parents. Okay. Now, so the big question still remains: how do they stand in gap for their children?
And
how do they stand in gap for their children? Is it by, is it normal responsibility for a parent to provide food, provide shelter, clothes, and all? That's at a very young age. But once they are to some certain age, you don't do some things for them. You can't feed them again. You can't do this, can't do that. Now, when it comes to that age where they are alone, how do parents still stand in gap for their children? Let's say the younger age, they will see babies and we are still babies and we don't get it here, so they can actually. Now at that adult age, how do parents stand in gap for us?
Let me speak for myself. How can my parents stand in gap for
you?
Or let me say, as a parent, how can I stand in gap for my children that is an adult? The first thing I will say is you stand in gap by interceding for them. When you are always on your knees praying, you are breaking some barriers 10 years to come. You are planting and you are removing some things.
Yes.
Those things that are supposed to stand on your children's way, you uproot them.
That's very
so good. That's the first way to stand in gap for the children. See, this life, you always face battle, problem. A lot of things those children are going to face in their life when they get admission in their school, when they are out, getting a partner, getting a job. Those that have business, their marriage, when they are in that marriage, how are you interceding for them? I pity some parents nowadays that when they want to call their children, or maybe when their children do something or offend them, they raise their voice and say, and the ones that have been praying for their children, that have been saying better things, good things to their children, they have not seen good results. To now talk of you that is always waking up and cursing them. Now, when we say stand in gap for your children, it's not just for you to pay their bills. It's not just for you to send them to school. It is way more than that. It is looking into the life of those children and see those things that are not right. How can you make them right? Look back into your family. Look into the society where you are. Because you can. There's this lady. There is a particular area in Fadeyi. That area is filled with thugs. And a particular girl, as you enter that street, you will have known that this is a ghetto area. It's not just ghetto, it's where you see those guys. I don't even know what to call. You know when I say those guys.
Those guys.
You know them.
Guys.
That even if you are looking for a phone, if they rob you in you can easily go to that place. Probably you can see it, maybe when they want to resell it. That kind of area. A lady got married. Oh, she wedding, it was an elaborate one. And everyone was like, this kind of environment. How come you raise a girl that was able to bring a husband home to the extent of having a wedding ceremony? So what I want to say is, how can you stand in gap for your children when you are in that kind of area? You study that area.
Okay.
You study, because you can be in that area and still raise godly children. And still raise a kind of children that will come out from that place and they will become the light. They can even be the children that will change that environment. So you look into your family also. What is it that is happening in family? When we are praying, they call it evil pattern. That is, you look into your family, your husband's family or your wife's family. Then you look at what has happened to your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your own father.
Now
in fact, you. Then if you don't want that kind of thing to happen to your children, you stand in gap for them.
Adura.
Because there are some things that our parents fail to do.
Yeah.
Now, there's an example for us to do. Now, we see that, my daddy is the best daddy in the world. My mother is the best mother.
Because he's buying chocolate and everything.
It's the best kid. But we are not telling, we need to see all those areas they are failed. And that should be what we will use as correction to raise our own children. You look at what is happening. You look at the trend. Then you now come to the conclusion. Do you still want to allow it in the life of your children? Oh, no. If you don't want to allow, then there's a way you stand in gap.
But the thing is, I'm sorry. The thing is, many parents of these days, many of them still don't know the flow. Pattern, that evil pattern that you talked about, I'm calling it the flow. Yeah, I like the term flow. Many of them don't
they choose to ignore it.
I won't say they choose to ignore it. Because when you choose to ignore something, you must have known the thing. Then when you know it, you ignore it. But they don't know it.
I feel they know.
And failure of this. Let me take for example a parent that didn't finish secondary school, to not even talk about going to tertiary institution. Then this parent got married somehow and had a child. Right now, this child is growing as well. Now, because one reason or the other, maybe family issue, she couldn't allow the child to go to school too. So it's, history has repeated itself there, right? The parent did not finish school, the child too cannot finish school. But they themselves, they don't really see it the way it is.
That's what we are saying.
So how is it that, how do you say that parents in that cases, what do you think you can do for them?
That's why we are saying this to parents out there. That you should look at the flow. Most parents, they will not look at their own life. They've also passed through some certain stage that the children are passing through. So instead of them to say, okay, it's like this is what I've reflected in my life, is now trying to reflect in the life of these children. Then number one, you call them. You have to let them know.
No, let them know. Parents, please.
Let them know that so thing has happened to me too. You don't have to cover yourself. Now, when you pay a man so Yoruba ko pe eri ori igi aseku omo edun ni, you've gone you've done it before. Now the child is going in that way. And the child is telling you it's a lie. You also have to see all these things too.
I've done it.
I've done it before. And this is the result. You have to explain to them. If it has affected you, let them know.
So that they can also be aware.
They can also be aware.
And also find a way to.
Then you now go back and pray for them instead of cursing them.
Pray.
Pray for. Don't just talk. Pray. You pray for them because they are the future.
They are your future.
They are your future, and you can change it. You can see the generation to come can change from you.
Yes.
You can break the protocol.
Break that chain. Yeah.
You can break that chain.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking about some things, personally, I do look at my family where I came from. Then I see some patterns too. Then when that thing wants to, I will say no. I am different. Because I have somebody. So I am different. So parents, we should try to play our role well in terms of prayer.
All right, so
for our
I have
children?
a question.
Parents.
I have a question. I said something earlier. I said about our parents that don't even know the flow. They don't even recognize.
Okay.
So I don't think we have really touched that the way I want it. And
Actually, me, I feel.
and wait, I'm coming.
Okay.
And I don't think we have really touched that the way I want to hear and the way I believe some fans out there would want it. So I have a question.
Okay.
Coming from
on
that.
that same
Same
question.
Yeah. I'm saying, since the parents failed to recognize these flows,
Okay.
can children stand in gap for their parents?
Yes, so.
Yes.
If so, how?
You can stand in gap, baby. What are you waiting for? You see the way your grandfather was. See the way your own daddy is. And you are passing through that route. Are you kidding me? Are you not saying, are you comfortable in this poverty? Are you comfortable in this life? Baby, pray. Pray.
See, children, you can stand in gap for your parent, in fact, for your generation.
You can change the story.
You have not given birth, you can start standing in gap for your own children to come.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You can break. In fact, children, it is not only your parent that will stand in gap. To start
there's
standing
a major role they have to
in
play.
gap. Because I could remember then when I was 15, 16, I was still from JS1, from primary 6, JS1, my secondary school like that. Sha.
You're already praying.
I've been doing vigil on my own.
Oh my.
I could say that my dad started going to church very well because of me. I could say that.
So you made you are like an influence on your dad to start standing as a.
I was still 16, 17, and my dad would dream. He would wake up in the morning, he would kneel down before me and say I should place my hand on him and pray because the reason is he always see me doing vigil. In fact, he will give me. I wake up in the middle of the night to read Bible, to study.
Imagine.
So when I'm reading like this, he will just come and open the door of our room. He will see me reading. He will just ask me, no, because then I use no, I don't use candle.
Atupa.
So he say, he will now give me his torchlight phone.
Oh, Jesus.
Then for me to use. So at that time, he started seeing a lot of changes in me. He followed us to vigil. My dad follow you to. He would not even allow you to go. Started following us, doing morning devotion, a lot of things.
You parented your parents.
So children, you can do that.
Okay, so since we've been talking about that, I've only been hearing one thing constantly, which is prayer.
Okay.
Prayer is the key. Prayer is the key.
Prayer. But the question I want to ask now is prayer the only thing to do? As a child, your parents do not recognize the evil flow in the family line. And now you as a child, you recognize it, right? So is prayer the only thing you do to save yourself from that flow?
Okay. Number one thing, first thing first, prayer.
Okay.
After prayer, let there be a consistent. Consistency is key.
Consistent.
If you start praying, don't stop praying. Keep praying.
That's still that prayer.
Number 3, see, you can pray on today, and you think that you have won, and tomorrow it rises up again with you.
Let me come in.
Okay.
There are other things aside from prayer.
Right.
Number 1, first thing you need to do is know what is going on in your family.
Your family, be aware, awareness.
Yes, just be aware of that. Yeah. Then try to make yourself different
from them.
Stand out. Now, stand out. I like that. Then, aside from that, now you want to change that pattern. As you are praying, also be determined and be focused. For example, they don't graduate in your family, or there are some family where they don't have a wedding ceremony, and that is how it has been. And you want to make a difference. Number 1, you know that for them not to buy alone or not to get married out of wedlock, that's what I mean. Yeah. Number 1, you have to. There's something they call abstinence. Stay away from whatever can cause that.
What can cause
now, so you know they don't graduate in your family, they don't go to school, and you want to do that. It is not by sleeping and waking up. It is not by playing. As you are praying, you are casting and binding.
Cast and bind.
You also study. So you have to be focused. be hardworking, be diligent, be different, be submissive, be humble.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that you have to do to make yourself different.
I know God.
Yes.
Well, that's prayer. You cannot pray.
Have the
Maybe
fear
I
of God.
I can pray and not know God though. Two different things.
Yes, I think those are the things.
There are still more though.
Prayer. There are
If you have time, there are still more.
there are still more.
But I just wanted that point to be, you know, to
Now,
be clear.
are you fine?
Because if you prayer without work is nothing.
And also for parents, standing in gap, you have to teach your children all these things. Because there cannot be evil pattern in a family without a cause.
Yeah.
Is it that they have anger issue? Is it that they have one particular addiction or something? So you have to stand in gap for them. And when you are buruku kon, there's some bad attitude that will become an evil pattern in that family.
If you don't stop.
You have to make sure you stop that in your family. You stop that in the life of your children.
And children, again, you can be a role model to your parents.
Yeah.
You can teach them how to stand in gap.
So if I must say, parents standing in gap for the children and children standing in gap
for their parents.
Oh, relate.
For their family.
They are interwoven. So you both need to work.
Yeah, you have a role to play.
Yeah, you need to balance it. You understand? So that will be all for today. Thank you so much.
It's fun. I love it.
I hope you really enjoyed the section.
I hope that Milari and Kenny will stand the gap for their parents and their
in the name of Jesus. Fire.
I mean, I'm standing in gap already.
Okay.
Now, baby.
If you have not been doing that,
if you've not been doing it,
do it. You need to do it.
Whether your parents or a child.
Don't be comfortable in poverty,
So so, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be seeing you next time. And trust us, we'll be bringing more hot, burning topics. All right. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel. Follow,
Yes.
Screenshot, screen record, do everything.
Video, call people to come and watch the video with you as you are watching.
Like, subscribe,
comment, like,
please download
and follow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we'll be seeing you next time. Take care, guys.
Talk your talk.
Prince World TV.
Like and share.
Follow and comment.
On our platform.
Like YouTube.
TikTok.
On Snapchat.
Instagram.
Twitter.
On Facebook.
Subscribe.
On Prince World TV. We love you all.
We love you all.
We love you.